We have this story. I have a New York Post up. It says PayPal pulls plan to find customers $2,500 from promoting misinformation. Now, what is misinformation? Well, it could be all sorts of things nowadays, can't it? There's plenty of misinformation going around, and depending on what political side of the aisle you're on, the misinformation changes, which it shouldn't. Truth shouldn't have a political political affiliation. Truth shouldn't be politicized. We should be talking about things that are fact and objectively true. Yet nowadays we have all kinds of discussion about things that are apparently misinformation, and depending on what side or the other you're on, something might be misinformation or something might be fact, and it's really sad nowadays. But fining people for something that you disagree with, I'm not too sure about that. Now, before I get into the video today, please like my video, leave a comment if I leave anything out, or if I say something you don't agree with, or if I get something wrong, please leave a comment. If you want to contact me, talk to me, I'm always on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Tyler Today, and then make sure you subscribe to the channel, Tyler Today. Now, let me get into the actual story here. I've got a few stories up, similar topics, and I'm just gonna go through them here today. So PayPal issued, then retracted a policy to fine users $2,500 for misinformation after a flurry of criticism erupted on social media, including from Elon Musk and another one of the company's former leaders. The penalties posted on PayPal's website would have been issued for to users who promote misinformation or present a risk to user safety or well-being, according to the Daily Wire, which first reported the change on Friday, which I have their article up. I'll pull it up in a minute. And it said that an AUP notice recently went out in error that included incorrect information. It went out in error, guys. It was an error. We didn't mean to put out a new policy that specifically said that we'd be taking money from you if you post things that we deem information. That was an accident. We didn't mean to do that. We don't want to take your money or punish you for saying things that are wrong in our point of view. Why would we do that? Why would we ever do that? Anyway, yeah, so they're just lying. Obviously, if I wasn't being sarcastic enough for you, they're clearly lying. This didn't go out in error. It went out on purpose. And when they realized the backlash that they got from it, they're like, oh, maybe it isn't time for that yet. I don't think we have enough people in the cult to pull something like that. And the answer is no, you do not, because people think freedom of speech is good. People still think that, which they should. So this is a former president of PayPal, I believe, David Marcus. It's hard for me to openly criticize a company I used to love and give so much to. But at PayPal, PayPal's new AUP goes against everything I believe in. A private company now gets to decide to take your money if you say something they disagree with. Insanity. And then Elon Musk said he agrees, obviously. PayPal has banned users who espouse views it says that promote hate, violence, or discriminatory intolerance. So they've banned people before. This comes as no surprise to me personally. They've removed people off PayPal for very, I think it's arbitrary reasons. It's political reasons as well. Mostly political, actually. And yeah, it comes as no surprise for me that they want to take your money because you disagree with them. Honestly, it makes sense. So here's the Daily Wire, and Daily Wire initially is the one that posted this. And talks about their new policy that PayPal wanted to post, who advanced purported misinformation or present risk to users' well-being with fines up to $2,500 per offense. So depending on how many times they think you have spread information, they will fine you per offense on $2,500. The financial services company, which has repeatedly deplatformed organizations and individual commentators for their political views, will expand its existing list of prohibited activities on November 3rd. Among the changes are prohibition on well, I don't know why I can't say that word, on the sending, posting, or publication of any messages, content, or materials that promote misinformation or present a risk to user safety or well-being. Users are also barred from the promotion of hate, violence, racial, or other forms of intolerance that is discriminatory. So what it sounds like is that if you say something about, I don't know, abortion that they don't like, if you say something about transgender individuals they don't like, if you say something about vaccines they don't like, well, cough up some cash. I don't care if you're right. I think it's misinformation what you're talking about. Give me money. That's what I think. So I think you should pull all of your money out of PayPal and close your accounts if you still, for some reason, have one, and never use them as a company again. They clearly don't have freedom of speech as a core value, and as an American, I hold that value in high regard. Everyone has the right to free speech. I don't care how wrong you are. I don't care how hateful what you say might come across. You have the right to say it. Do I agree with what every person says? Certainly not. I'd have to just spend but a moment on Twitter, and I will see plenty of things that I don't agree with. That doesn't mean the people that I disagree with shouldn't be on the internet or on Twitter, or that they should be removed from their banking institutions. By no means have I ever even considered that. I think that's a very, fascist point of view. You just want to force your will onto people, is what it sounds like, regardless of if you're right or wrong. If someone's spreading misinformation, why is the response to find them? Why is the response not to have a conversation with them? A conversation leads to, if you get to a real conversation with someone and it's civil, you don't devolve into insults, you can get down to the root of where the disagreement is and possibly find the truth. But if people are just yelling at each other and trying to find each other, censor each other, and all this stuff, we will never find common ground. We will never find what is actually true. When I talk to someone, especially when it's someone I disagree with, the whole time I'm seeking common ground and ways to either convince them or ask or find questions to ask them to convince myself of how I may be wrong about something. I don't want to be wrong. I don't think anyone wants to be wrong about something. I don't think anyone necessarily wants to spread misinformation, unless, of course, it benefits them. But that's another point. No one wants to be wrong, is my point. No one wants to be incorrect. They want to be right. And, how do I know I'm right unless I can defend my position? And the answer is, I don't know if I'm right unless I can defend my position. If my position is that men can get pregnant, the burden of proof is on me. It's not on the generations of humans that never had men getting pregnant. It's not on people today that know for sure men cannot get pregnant. It is up to you who believes that to what's the word I'm looking for? I'll use another word. It's up to you to the burden of proof is up to you, is what I'll say. It's not on me to prove that. Just like it's not on me to prove that life begins at conception, because it's a scientific fact. Scientific fact that it begins at conception. There's new cells, new DNA that's created at the point of conception. That is the beginning point of life for humans. No other point after that can you say, oh, there it is. That's life. That's life now. All of a sudden, it's life. All of a sudden. No. From the point of conception, it's a living organism that has begun to grow and develop. It is alive. Now, that being my not even belief, that's just an objective truth, that at conception, it is a life. If you can prove otherwise, I would love to see it. Like I said, I don't want to be wrong, but I believe I'm right. And I don't think anyone that disagrees that it's a life should be completely removed from the internet, though. But, some people that think I'm wrong probably think I should be, and I don't think that's right. I really don't. Let's see. So the company's current acceptable use policy does not mention such activities. The Daily Wire reached out to PayPal for definitions of the added terms, although no response was received in time for publication. So, I mean, they could have responded afterwards, but like they're probably not going to. I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, the immediate follow-up question. Well, yeah, they asked them to describe misinformation. They can't describe misinformation because misinformation is whatever you want it to be. Now, real disinformation or misinformation would be like, I don't know, men can get pregnant. Now that's actually misinformation. Or I don't know, just like pick like a law of nature and then try to say that it's not true. Like say something like dogs can become cats, or dogs can give birth to cats, or certain animals can give birth to other animals. Like just say like that's misinformation. All that's misinformation. But if you're talking about when life begins, or whether or not it's okay to have children on puberty blockers and stuff like that, like there's no, like there probably is an objective truth in that, but like we're having debates about it for a reason. And if someone's wrong about something in a debate, the response shouldn't be to be like, oh, shut up, you're wrong. It should be to try to convince the person of why they're wrong. Shouldn't we be convincing people why they're wrong, having a conversation about where they've diverged on the wrong path? You know, they had a path in their train of thought, and at some point they took the wrong path and they kept going. Why is the response to sever all ties to them and just leave them alone on that path? You need to bridge the gap and give them a new path. You need to give them a new path of thinking. Why is it that the answer is to shut down these people and censor them and fine them? How is that going to prove that they're wrong? That'll just cultivate hatred, cultivate anger. This doesn't help society. This doesn't help anyone. This only helps the company because they want to make money. Now, I'm going to go jump to this other story. We also have the story from Candace Owens. This is being posted by The Daily Beast. Candace Owens says bank kicked Kanye West out. Now, what bank did this? Well, it would appear that JP Morgan, Chase Bank, it appears as though Kanye West is on the lookout for a new financial institution to store his millions after conservative pundit Candace Owens posted a screenshot of the bank's termination notice to the rapper. Owens, who wore a White Lives Matter shirt along West in Paris and claimed backlash, proved that there was hatred towards white people. Oh, sorry, excuse me. So Kanye West recently had a White Lives Matter shirt or sweater or whatever. Let me just play this clip from Tucker Carlson. He has a picture of it.
West. Now, he was not the only person wearing a White Lives Matter t-shirt at the Paris Fashion Week. His friend and our friend Candace Owens was standing right next to him. So we asked West what that whole thing was like.
To God and work for God. God is going to bestow team, Jesus gang. And for me to go out and just state an obvious and empathetic statement of the most central, like to go like Tiananmen Square or something like that. I was like, with Candace Owens, and we both shirt at the same time. Some Jesus soldiers out here, and people say they're willing to die, live for it. We're living battle, and what's the battle for? Life itself, children.
Like Tiananmen Square.
So at the end there, if you haven't seen the interview, the lanyard that Kanye West has, sorry, excuse me. Kanye West has a lanyard, and it's a picture of a baby in the womb, and he says he points at life because life begins in the womb and life begins at conception. So he's talking about the protection of life. But so they're mad at him because he's pro-life and because he thinks white lives matter. Why should anyone get mad at a factual statement? White lives matter, black lives matter, all lives matter. All human beings' lives are valuable to some degree, and I believe all human life is inherently more valuable than any other animal life on the planet. You watching as well as myself and anyone you know, has more value than animals, in my opinion, because humans are unique. We are unique. We have such a different array of emotions and different feelings. We make things. We're just amazing creatures, like whatever you want to call us. I give human beings more value than anything else. You know, it's all about the human experience, and you know, all people have inherent value. You shouldn't get mad at simple statements as white lives matter or black lives matter. You shouldn't get mad at either statement. There should be no animus towards either statement. Like, it should just be true. It should just be accepted as fact, because it is. And so JP Morgan Chase Bank was officially kicked out of JP Morgan and Chase Bank, and was told that there was no official reason given, but they sent this letter as well to confirm that I could just scroll down to her tweet. I was told that there was no official reason given, but they sent this letter as well to confirm that he has until late November to find another place for the Yeezy empire to bank. And I did not mean to open that. I filmed this earlier, but my audio was terrible. Hopefully the audio is a little bit better. It was like unlistenable, and I just couldn't post it. So I'm re-recording right now. So I believe I have the tweet right here. Yes, I do. So here's the email that Kanye West got. The names are blacked out. So, you know, for privacy reasons. We are sending this letter to confirm our recent decision with name that JP Morgan Chase Bank, NA, the bank, has decided to end its banking relationship with Yeezy LLC and its affiliated entities, collectively the company. To provide the company with sufficient time to transition to another financial institution, we will continue to maintain the accounts attached as Exhibit A, including all related products and services, until November 21st, 2022. So they're giving them about a month to get out, not giving them a reason. To avoid any transaction delays, you can pause it and read the rest yourself. Basically, they're just saying, come get your money. We don't care. So they're removing him based off of his political beliefs. This is political. I don't think any bank should be removing someone based on speech or political beliefs. That is utterly ridiculous. Banks should not be able to do that. Simply put, freedom of speech exists. You should not be banned from anything, anywhere, any institution for the things you say. You should not be. I don't care what you say. You should not be able to be banned for what you say. Now, obviously, there are tons of speech that I don't agree with. That doesn't mean they shouldn't have the right to say it. How are we to have discussions about objective truth and reality if all forms of conversation are available, or are not available, rather? If there's a certain thing you can't talk about, how are we to know for certain that is wrong? If we're not allowed to talk about something, how are we ever to know if it's actually true or if it's actually wrong? If it's just accepted as that, it's just one thing forever and always, how are we ever to know that it is for sure that? It needs to be tested, it needs to be challenged, it needs to be rooted in scrutiny. If it can stand up to all of the scrutiny in the world, then it must be true. If it can stand up to all the scrutiny, it must be true. And if it can't take any scrutiny and you won't even allow scrutiny, how are we ever to know? How are we ever to know if it can stand, if you won't even allow us to scrutinize it? The answer is you won't know, and that may be the goal. Maybe they don't want you to know if it's actually, the truth or not. That if they can control what is the truth, then they can control what you believe. That's what I'll add. And then so we're talking about JP Morgan, right? So we're talking about Chase Bank. They don't want you in their bank if you support White Lives Matter. But you know what they do support? Well, I'll tell you what they support. Got this from Vox. JP Morgan and Deutsche Bank have come under scrutiny amid reports from the New York Times about their dealings with Epstein, the New York financier and convicted sex offender. According to the Times, JP Morgan kept Epstein as a client well past his 2008 guilty plea for soliciting prostitution, and despite recommendations from compliance officers that it cut ties with him because of potential legal and reputational risk associated with his accounts. A similar scenario played out at the Deutsche Bank, where, as at JP Morgan, executives reportedly ignored compliance officers' concerns about suspicious transactions. They didn't care because they were making money off it. That, and they probably, who knows? You know, I'm not gonna say anything for certain, but maybe they were getting some visits to his island or something. You know, who knows? Who knows what they were receiving, and who knows what they knew about? Because they could see his bank accounts. They are the bank after all. So yeah, keep Jeffrey Epstein. Get rid of Kanye West. Let's do it. Fuck it, right? You know, white lives matter? Nah. Child sex islands? Yes, let's do it. Woohoo! What is going on with this country, man? It's crazy. I mean, so we have PayPal trying to fine people for misinformation. We have Kanye West being removed for White Lives Matter and other political statements, and then we also have this individual named Jones, who goes by the name Catturd on Twitter, and the names are really weird to talk about. But so they seem, I went through their Twitter. I've never seen any of their podcast or anything like that. Basically, they are a commentator that is right-leaning and likes to fight the leftist narratives. So they obviously don't like him. Well, Bank of America didn't like him so much that Bank of America recently shut down their new account associated for the In the Litter Boss podcast, hosted by Jules Jones and conservative pundit and best-selling author Catturd. Jones described the situation as the left exerting control through any means necessary. They are going to control you at any means or any methods that they possibly can. They're going to exert their control over you. So I got that mixed up. So Catturd's a separate person, and Jules Jones is the co-host of their podcast. So I did get that wrong. But so yeah, so Jones called the bank and they sent her around and around and around. She said, look, I can just make an appointment and come in. Or can I just make an appointment and come in? I would like to talk to you about my account. It's frozen. So I made an appointment, of course. When I got there, they claimed I didn't have an appointment. She then continued, I walked into the bank and they said, well, why don't you just have a seat? We'll have the manager come out. Jones went on to explain that when the manager came out to speak with her, it was almost like he could not wait to see her. He was really thrilled to see me and tell me that my account had been shut down, that he wasn't going to give me any explanation. He had no reason to give me any explanation, and that I would be receiving a letter from Bank of America and the powers that be in the mail and a check if they owed me any money. So, remove your accounts from Bank of America, remove your accounts from Chase and JP Morgan, remove your accounts from PayPal. All of these people do not support freedom of speech, and they will someday take your money or just remove you from their banking institution for things that you say and believe, regardless of if they're factual or not. That does not matter. And you know, something that is true today may be wrong tomorrow, or something that's wrong today may be true tomorrow. You know, it changes, just like when we're talking about vaccines, or we're talking about the transgender topic, or we're talking about the abortion topic, or we're talking about immigration, or there's just so many things that the truth changes over time. And, you know, obviously, like I said, there is an objective truth in a lot of these things, but when the mainstream narrative is constantly changing, you know, who's to say that they won't just change it one day just so they can target you? The answer is they will. They will do that. They will use it to target people. They will use it to target you. They'll use it to target me. You know, I'm sure I've already posted plenty of videos that they can take out of context and cancel me for. I don't care. I'm saying what I believe. And I think everyone should be able to share what they believe, regardless of how wrong they are. Because if they are wrong, show them that they're wrong. Convince them why they're wrong. Tell them why they're wrong. Have a conversation with them, but be civil about it. You know, just be civil. Be civil about it. You know, no matter what topic it is. You know, I know there's a lot of topics nowadays that people can get really heated. I'm guilty of it myself. Of course, I insult people from time and time again on Twitter and stuff like that. I can get heated too. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't. Civil conversation is always the best conversation. My favorite conversations are when someone disagrees with me, but they're still able to have that civil conversation. I have changed my mind on plenty of things in the past, but currently where I'm at on a lot of issues, I'm pretty grounded in my beliefs because I haven't, I'm constantly talking with people on Twitter, and my ideas have held up to scrutiny. If someone comes along and shows me evidence of why something I believe is incorrect, I can start that process of changing my mind. It's happened before. I know how it works. I know how to do it. I can change my mind. But I don't change my mind based on flimsy evidence. If I'm going to change my mind, the way I look at it is like the abortion topic, for example. So if you want to convince me of why that baby is not a life, you need to give me an argument for that. If I change my idea, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay. So when someone comes up to me and tells me that conception begins at life, what do I tell them? How do I explain why they're wrong? You haven't even explained why I'm wrong. So why would I change my opinion to something I cannot defend? If I can defend my position and you have not been able to put a crack in the armor, why would I then take off the armor and be like, oh, let's see if this works. I think this one's good. This sounded better. It worked for you. No, it didn't. Things need to be able to hold up to scrutiny. My ideas currently hold up to scrutiny. But if I find, criticism that is valid, I'll address it. Just like you should. But people shouldn't be being debanked. They shouldn't have their money stolen from them. And that's where I'll leave it. I think it's horrible what's happening to these people. I think all of this should be reversed. People should be able to say what they want. I think you should be able to say what you want. If you think I'm stupid and wrong, I'm glad you believe that. People can have their own opinions, and I think that's why America's great. We all have our own opinion, and we should continue to all think for ourselves and have our own opinions, because that's what makes this country great. But we should have civil conversation while talking about those ideas. I think my camera just died, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. Thank you for watching. Check out my YouTube channel, Tyler Today, and as I mentioned at the start, check out my Twitter at Tyler Today YT, and follow me there if you want to have any conversations. And thank you for watching. Peace out.